So, this is the first episode of a Wrestling Wrap-Up. There's a lot of stuff going on. This is right after WrestleMania, and this is just a quick, brief summary of what's going on, landscape of wrestling right now. Starting with WWE Monday Night Raw was like, oh, what the fuck show was that? What the fuck was that? That was like a horrible version of the Raw after Mania. Like, it was so complete garbage, and Vince had a hand all over it. And yeah, now that people are like, well, Vince is only back temporarily. This show, because it was right at the WrestleMania, right there in LA, he had his hands all over it, tore up everything, fucking going crazy. It was just Vince McMahon being Vince McMahon, and it ruined the show. But also, this show wasn't really as good as some of the stuff that we would have expected. Like, this from a Triple H show, we would have expected something really cool, really dominant, really awesome. Like the stuff that he's been doing over the last couple of months. It's like, nothing happened. The Cody versus Brock thing, like, that was already planned. I know people are like, oh, Vince came back and Vince set that up. All of a sudden, from what I've heard from multiple sources, that it was already planned. It was already in the workings from a long time ago. This just happened. People are just like, oh my god, like, Vince did this. Nah, Vince didn't do this. That was already planned. It was probably planned Triple H era, maybe when Vince first got there. It was like, oh, Cody, this is going to be your story after Mania. After this, Brock's going to turn on you, blah, blah, blah. Yada, maybe. But I just know it was already planned. And speaking of like a Raw after Mania, we got a Dynamite after Mania. And I know people are like, wait, what the fuck? Like, what do you mean a Dynamite after Mania? That Dynamite show was exactly what you would do on a fucking Raw after Mania. That's the Dynamite show that we got is what we would get on a regular Raw after Mania. That would be the show. It would be like, oh my god, this is the fucking show. The show opened up with Jay White signing the AEW. And it's like, oh shit, that's a big fucking signing for AEW. To get Jay White, that is huge. Jay was probably going to sign with WWE, but because of the whole acquisition of WWE to Endeavor and everything that was going on, it turned into a hiring freeze where they couldn't hire anybody. Like, the people who are signed to WWE were signed before 2023 when the hiring freeze went into effect. It went in effect because of the buying of WWE / merger with Endeavor. It was very bad because WWE really wanted Jay White, Triple H, William Regal. They went to bat for him. They were like, yo, we want this guy. We really want this guy. But because of the hiring freeze and everything that was going on, talks fell apart and Jay wound up in AEW. And that is a massive loss for WWE. It's a massive loss for WWE and a huge gain for AEW. Jay White is a fucking star. There's so much discourse on the way that Jay wrestles. People are like, oh, we don't like him because of this or because of that. And this is from a lot of people who've watched him in New Japan because his style is slow, methodical, and his promos are just like off the charts. But a lot of people have been like, we don't know. Jay White in AEW is fucking perfect. If he would have went to WWE, it would have been fucking perfect. He is designed to be a star no matter where he goes. AEW grabbed him, huge get for them. Also a huge thing for them, they're going to Wembley Stadium. Now, this is going to cause a little controversy because Wembley Stadium holds like 90,000 people, and it's not a guarantee that AEW can get up to 90,000 people. They're talking about 25,000 is good enough. I mean, it's less than half of the building, but it's like perfectly fine. It's like, oh man, they fucking sold out a lot. The thing that AEW is going to have to do for this is they're going to team up with New Japan. Like, we know that they're going to team up with New Japan. They're probably going to team up with Progress, Rev Pro, get some of the local guys on there. You bring some of the local guys from the UK and people will be like, oh shit, this guy's there, oh shit, like, I want to go. But also, you bring in New Japan people and be like, oh, we're going to have Kenny Omega versus Ospreay as the main event of this show. That's 100% show. That's the match of the year as of right now. That is the match of the year. Nothing has topped that. That's match of the year. Ospreay versus Omega from Wrestle Kingdom. Best of the year. It's like hands down. So part 2 in Wembley Stadium with AEW, oh, no brainer they're selling out. And if the rumors are true that they're bringing back CM Punk, then yeah, that's really gonna fucking up the ante. Like, they're gonna sell. It's nothing that you could do. And people are like, well, I don't know if they're gonna get that in the market. Like I said, they're gonna do crossover work, and people are going to go. AEW is going to get hot right now because all of the Vince stuff in WWE, because WWE has been hot over the last 6 to 8 months because of Triple H. But Triple H getting his hands tied a little with Vince is going to make people go back to AEW, and the way AEW was this week, it's like, oh, they're showing you that they can still be a force in wrestling. So that's a big thing for AEW. And SmackDown had the Jey Uso, Sami Zayn thing, more of the bloodline stuff still leaking out between Sami and Jey, which is really cool, which means there's no ending for bloodline right now. That means that whole storyline is going to keep going, probably to Jey versus Roman at some point. We're also going to get Nakamura versus Roman at some point because they're going to heat him up because Triple H likes him. And people are complaining about Riddle being in the bloodline situation, and I just keep saying to people, that already happened. He was already part of the bloodline situation. That was already happening. It was already a thing. So there you go. Like, it was already a thing. But that's what happened on SmackDown. Now, crossing the oceans, we're going to New Japan, where New Japan had Sakura Genesis, which was a fucking amazing show. Everybody that watched it was in love with it. They loved the show. Few things from that is El Phantasmo got kicked out of the Bullet Club, and El Phantasmo tweeted a little picture of him with black and gold Bullet Club merch. And I know people are like, what the fuck does that mean? Jay White, when he signed to AEW, quote unquote said, hey, this is Bullet Club black and gold. Hey, that's a great thing for El Phantasmo. And since Jay can't go back to New Japan because of the stipulation, we have Forbidden Door, and we also have the Wembley show. Hey, at the Wembley show, Jay White versus David Finlay in the UK. Yeah, that's a no-brainer. That's something amazing for Bullet Club leadership, and Jay getting back into Japan. Yeah, that's fucking awesome. I would do that. But then we had Mercedes Moné versus Azami and Hazuki. And this match was really, really, really fucking good. And this was the first time Mercedes Moné got to wrestle against Stardom Girls. And it was a beautiful sight. And after the match, Mercedes got challenged by Miyu Iwatani. That's the next match for her. Then we move on to the tag team match. Aussie Open versus Bishamon. This match was so fucking great. I was cheering for Aussie Open from the beginning. And then when Kyle Fletcher got hit in the back of the head and got split open, and the crowd just like went feral for him because he finished the match bloodied up, taped up, and they won the tag team titles, had the whole fucking Japanese crowd just screaming Aussie, 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 oi, oi, oi. Oh man, that was so amazing. I love that. Then we had Robbie Eagles, who has been from Bullet Club Robbie Eagles, Sniper in the Sky, to Chaos Robbie Eagles, to now TDMK Robbie Eagles. And it's nothing against Robbie Eagles, he's just a slut for factions, but Robbie Eagles is fucking awesome. No matter where he goes, he ups his game. It's like every time he gets with a new faction, he goes from, oh, I'm just Robbie Eagles, to I'm Robbie Eagles this guy. I'm Robbie Eagles this guy. And he keeps upping the ante. And this one where he's with TDMK, this is probably my best version of Robbie Eagles. He took on Hiromu Takahashi, and Hiromu beat him, so he keeps the title. Then we went to the main event. And the fucking thing about this thing that, like, there's a lot of people online with this discourse that it was Sonata versus Okada in Sonata's hometown. Sonata wins the IWGP Heavyweight Championship. And people are like, oh my god, see, this is how you finish the story, this is how you finish the story, this is how you finish the story. And I have to remind those people, you want to say this is how you finish the story, right? You have to go back in Sonata and Okada's history, and this is how you finish the story, which means the Cody losing at WrestleMania was nothing. It's a drop in a bucket in this story, because the very first time that Sonata faced Okada for the world title, Sonata lost. And Okada said to him, I like your style. I want you to be my rival. You're not there yet. And Okada and Sonata wrestled 5 or 6 more times after that. It was even one time Okada wrestled Sonata. He beat him. Okada wrestled for the title, won the title, and he said, my first opponent I want is Sonata. And he fought Sonata. Man, they have been wrestling, like, it's been sporadically. It hasn't been like the Naito Okada feud or the Tanahashi Okada feud. It's been a different type of feud, but this story has been going on for a while. And Sonata did beat Okada in the G1. He beat him one time in the G1. And going into this, Sonata reinvented himself, and he won. With just 5 guys, Sonata won, and he's now the IWGP champion. He said he's going to make a change. And the first person that comes out is Hiromu. And he wants to challenge him. The IWGP Junior Champion wants to challenge him. And it made me think, like, oh my god, Sonata has had the world title. Shingo has had the world title. Evil has had the world title. Naito has had the world title. Hiromu is the only one who didn't have the title. But they went back into the playbook 2013, Okada versus Prince Devitt. When Hiromu challenged Sonata, Sonata said, no, you can have me if you beat Kanemaru. Because Okada and Prince Devitt, when Devitt challenged Okada, Okada said, Devitt, you can have me, but you have to beat Geto. And, of course, Devitt beat Geto, wound up still having a match with Okada. And that's exactly what's going to happen here. Hiromu's going to beat Kanemaru and definitely going to have a match with Sonata. So that's the thing. And then, right after that, there was these teaser videos. These teaser videos from Pro Wrestling Noah, All Japan, and New Japan. Something's happening on April the 12th. I don't know what it is, but it seems like they're going to do another joint show that they haven't done in... I don't even remember how long ago it was. It's like been a gazillion years, probably like 2008, I want to say, a big super show. And I can't wait. Kento Miyahara, Kaito Kiyomiya, all of those guys in the same fucking building with Okada and Sonata and all of these people. Oh, I can't wait. It's going to be great. But that's the wrestling roundup right now. So leave your thoughts, comments, likes, subscribes down at the bottom. You know, all the regular shit. And I'll be back again eventually.